Hello, this is Mrs. Greiner with another art masterpiece. Welcome. Do you ever have a hard time getting the words out the right way? Sometimes I do. Do you feel like you can express yourself better with a picture? Sometimes a picture says more than 1,000 words, they say. Well, Georgia O'Keeffe felt along the same lines. In fact, she loved to paint very large paintings of flowers, sometimes animal skulls, but she wanted people to really see the beauty. And so we move to today's painting. Now this one is not one of a flower. The purple one is. That one is Petunias, 1925. We have Pineapple Bud in 1939, so 20s and 30s, about 100 years ago almost. And here we have a ram's head, or let's see, white hollyhock and little hills, 1935. She really enjoyed the beauty of nature. In fact, one thing she told, I believe it was a reporter, when you take a flower in your hand and really look at it, it's your world for the moment. I want to give that world to someone else. Most people in the city rush around so. They have no time to look at a flower. I want them to see it, whether they want to or not. So I'm going to get a nice close-up here. Think of a large canvas and it's filled with just those 3 or 4, okay, maybe 5 flowers. What's your favorite flower? It's actually quite hard to paint flowers. They are quite delicate. It's almost like painting a face. You have to get the softness and their shape just right, and then the coloring. Notice how she's able to capture the light just right so that you feel like you could reach out and touch it. It has that depth. So this would be along the lines of realism. It's a still life. Whereas this one here in the middle, I'm going to take down our petunias. This one is From the Lake, number 1. She actually meant to depict for us a lake that she visited in the summer with her husband, and there's a storm. So even though this at first glance may look like an abstract meaning it doesn't look real, it's more interpretive shapes, not meaning to be real in real life. But here we see these strong diagonal lines, even this jagged, almost lightning line, some swirls here. Can you imagine? This is actually the water whipping up with the clouds. This is the clouds. And maybe there is lightning. But on the lake, and a storm comes up. So with abstract paintings, we definitely look at the use of line. Line is very important. So this is supposed to give us maybe a feeling of urgency, action, movement. And all of that is accomplished with bold shapes and lines. So we have curved lines, we have those diagonal lines. And the diagonal line always indicates movement in painting, whether it be a realistic paint, impressionism, or even abstract. Notice how the clouds actually seem the softest in the painting, whereas these, very sharp, bold. Maybe it almost gives a sound of, an idea of sound, the crack of thunder. And the white is so stark against this black. Maybe this is actually the land. Maybe the hills or mountains in the background, and this is the water going up over. Here's some more land. Maybe the shore. Can you see it? The water is undulating and moving violently and then sprays up. Notice how she uses the use of white, and then this is the green-blue of the water, and outlines that or echoes it. Why draw a line twice? To get your point across. When you're writing a paragraph or even a story, if you want someone to understand something, you need to say it more than once, maybe in a different way. Here we have the white jagged line, and then we have it again repeated in the green. So as it turns out, she studied art in Chicago and New York. There we go. Oops. Let's come back. And to earn money, she was also a commercial artist and teacher. She was influenced by a teacher to resume her painting and experiment with paint. She sent some charcoal drawings to a friend in New York who gave them to another man. And this man, Alfred Stieglitz, displayed them in a gallery without her permission. But that is what launched her career. And she stopped teaching and began painting much more. In the 20s, she painted flowers very close up, as we showed with the petunias. She also painted landscapes, as this one is. She never painted people or any living creatures. So she did living flowers, and she did the skull of the ram, but never people or living animals. She visited New Mexico and fell in love with the desert. That's where she got to see some of those skulls, I believe, and she loved to paint the animal bones, also cow skulls. Unfortunately, she became blind in her later years, and she died March 6, 1986 in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Her art is still intriguing and inspiring people. Now, how does this painting make you feel? Do you feel like you're watching a storm on a lake? Do you feel a little afraid? Do you want to go indoors? The interesting thing is she's using a lot of cool colors, as water would be usually a cool color. But when she adds the green to it, she's adding some warmth. And the yellow here. Why would she add that color, do you think? The earth tones, brown and red. Is it where earth meets the water? When we come into this, even though this could be determined a landscape, since it's bordering on the abstract, we can bring a lot of interpretation and meaning to the color choices, the lines, the shapes. You can make up your own story. If I had never told you that we were on the lake, you may have come up with a completely different story, and that would be just fine. That's one thing I love about abstract art. You can make it what you want it to be. But then once you know the story behind it, it may add a deeper meaning or make you appreciate it even more. Well, that's all we have time for today. I hope you enjoyed our American artist, Georgia O'Keeffe, a famous woman artist, and her take on nature. Next time you walk by a flower, maybe you'll wonder, maybe I could draw or paint that. And will you do it really large, close up, or is it going to be small and in the background? Your choice. Until then, make great art and enjoy great art. Bye-bye.